What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another Madden, not Madden, NBA 2K17 Pro Am game. We're going against a team that is pretty much trying to be like the Florida Gators out here, knocking down a three on their first possession of the game. But during this game, it's time to talk about some NBA action one last time, because the last game of the 2016-2017 NBA season just happened, and the Golden State Warriors are the NBA champions. I know a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people do like that. Myself personally, if you guys have followed me long enough, you guys know where I stand on the whole situation. Kevin Durant's my favorite player, so I want to see KD do well. I want to see KD win a ring, so I'm happy to see the Warriors win. But if the Warriors are to win a championship, the way I wanted it to play out if the Warriors were going to win the championship this year is that they won because Kevin Durant went the hell off, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm pretty good with the outcome of these finals. KD averaging 35 a game, I believe like 5 assists and 8 rebounds in the finals as well, playing like a monster. That game 5 closeout game, that dude literally did not miss. He was like 13 for 17 at one point of the game, KD, which is so on it, unbelievably on it. He shot like 55%, another like 45% from 3, shooting really well. Nearly had a 50-40-90 in the NBA finals. So part of my hype, but Durant's been my favorite player since I really got into the NBA, since I really started watching it in the first season when LeBron was in Miami, like that 2010-11 season. So I've been following him in OKC days. Now he's on the Warriors. I watch a lot of Golden State to see how he fits in. So I'm just really happy to see my favorite player win. I also wanted to see a really good series, as I mentioned before, and even though it ended in 5 games and it started off really rough, it was a pretty good series. The Cavaliers really turned it on. It's just that, the Warriors are just too stacked of a team. There's not really, individual debates about LeBron versus Kevin Durant, Curry versus Kyrie. All this stuff's pretty nonsensical. If you're, if you really understand basketball, you know that the Warriors just have a better team. Their big 5, their small dead ball lineup, I should say, of Durant, Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, and Iguodala is just too damn deadly for Cleveland to handle. And Cleveland had a great NBA Finals. Kyrie nearly averaged 30 a game. That's nothing to joke around with. Kyrie was pretty phenomenal during the Finals. Creating his own shot against that Golden State team. LeBron averaged a triple-double. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's not disrespect the King for averaging a triple-double. That's a really good team. Kevin Love, he had a rough shooting percentages once again. JR, after the first 2 games, he started to get into the series, which was good to see. JR was taking his JR-like shots after being pretty timid early on, and that definitely helped the Cavaliers keep the gaps within those last 3 games. And we got some good games. Unfortunately, Cleveland blew that game 3. If Cleveland didn't blow game 3, the series would have been a lot more interesting had they won the game 4. There would have been so much hype around the game 5. But even with that, there was a lot of hype around game 5 because of the fact Golden State blew the 3-1 lead last year. So everyone believed that it was possible for them to blow the lead again. A lot of people really believed the Cavaliers would force the game 7, because if they won game 5, there's a pretty good chance they win game 6 at home, because feels like they never miss 3s when they play in Cleveland. And then, you had the game 7, and anything could happen in that game. And, hey, the Cavaliers kept it close for a while, but, it was just really about Durant, Curry as well. We can't sleep on how well of an NBA Finals Steph Curry had. That was by far the best NBA Finals series Steph Curry played in his career. Last couple of years, he was not really on it. He lost Finals MVP to Iguodala the first year he was in. And then the second year, we all know how that Game 7 went and how Curry kind of choked it away by missing a bunch of ill-advised 3s. But this year, he had a really good mix of taking the 3s, taking, Steph Curry-like shots, but also attacking the paint really well and forcing those guys to, play him and actually finishing in the paint. I thought he didn't do a good job of finishing in the paint in last year's NBA Finals. This year, he did a lot better job of that. Klay, Klay had one good game. I believe game 2 he had about like almost 30 points. Otherwise, Klay Thompson, as you guys know, brings the defense nowadays, as well as perimeter shooting. He still shot like 43, 44, maybe even 45% from 3 in the NBA Finals, and that's all you can ask from Klay at that point. But his role on the team, Klay could do more, but he did his role. And then Draymond Green, he was in foul trouble for a little bit of the NBA Finals, but otherwise he and Iguodala, those two really were game changers defensively. Those, they're just so smart. Draymond and Iggy, They know plays before they even happen. You watch the plays, you see Draymond directing guys, you see Iguodala in perfect position all the time, and Iguodala probably has the best hands in basketball as far as swiping for steals. You guys saw it at the end of game 3, down by 3. LeBron couldn't even get the three-pointer off. It was technically blocked by Iguodala, but he just got a clean strip on the ball on LeBron as he was trying to go up for that shot, and that's just what they bring to that team. And then, of course, they have their role players on top of that. You guys know that, but, you know, I feel like some people just, you know, they don't really understand that. But that's just, like, casual basketball fans, so they don't really appreciate that kind of stuff. But, you know, otherwise, I thought it was a pretty good finals for what it was. The outcome was pretty predictable given the kind of team Golden State has, and like I mentioned in the previous Pro-Am video I did, if they can keep the core, and when I say core, that includes Andre Iguodala along with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry this offseason, get all 3 of those guys re-signed, then, you know, there will be role players that show up. There are ring chasers in the NBA every single season, as we put up a nice little photo right there. Having a pretty decent game ourselves, but kind of a low-scoring game throughout for both teams in the 30s and near the end of the third quarter. But, yeah, Golden State keeps this team around. There's nothing really Cleveland can do to beat them next year as well, I don't believe. Because, I mean, LeBron's playing the peak, not, you know, physically, but at the peak mentally of his career. Kyrie, I don't know what his peak is, because I just feel like there's so many moves Kyrie has, and we probably still haven't seen, you know, 3/4 of the moves Kyrie can do, because he's so young, and he's just so goddamn good. But despite that, I don't think Cleveland could beat Golden State next year unless they made some blockbuster trade, which I don't think can realistically happen, but hey, man, you never know. So that's, you know, just my take on the NBA Finals. Really just happy to see KD get a ring. I don't want to see KD be one of those people like Karl Malone, John Stockton, Iverson, etc. that never got that ring in their career. And he did it at the peak, playing at the top. There's always going to be questions about, you know, KD should have stayed in OKC, which I agree with. You know, it would have been a lot different had he won a ring with OKC or any team that wasn't, you know, the 73-9 team that he had to join, the previously 73-9 team that lost in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. But at the end of the day, like I said, if he were to win the ring, that's the way I want him to do it. Not riding Steph Curry and Draymond and Clay's coattails and watching them dominate and just being a spectator. He was a difference maker. He was the difference maker in that series. It felt like in many of those games when Golden State maybe didn't have the three-point shot to what they wanted. Kevin Durant was getting buckets inside, getting his, you know, mid-range shots. He's pretty much unstoppable shooting from mid-range. It's just whether he's going to make the shot or miss the shot. And a lot of times, well, damn, he made the shot. And you know, that's basically my take right there. But, you know, you just can't slip on the good season the Cavaliers had. Obviously, the Eastern Conference is a weak conference, but, you know, it's just really nice to watch LeBron James play basketball. It's hard to actually do it, but just trying to appreciate greatness as it happens in front of you. And that's what it is with, especially LeBron James and all these other players, but especially with LeBron, just trying to appreciate, you know, how smart he is as a player, how, you know, talented he is and all that. So taking all that in, it was a pretty good NBA Finals. Unfortunately, the season is over, and we didn't get like a Game 6 or 7, but it is what it is. Next up is the NBA Draft, and technically the awards that should have happened a month or two ago. Then we got free agency, and it's pretty interesting to see what happens in free agency. See, mainly, I think the big domino of free agency this year is going to be, well, there's two. One, what happens with the Clippers if if Blake Griffin and CP3 both stay or not, or both of them go, however that works out. That could have quite an effect on free agency depending on who gets who. I think Gordon Hayward stays in Utah personally. I think they're gonna, you know, pay him the max they can. He should accept that, get his dough really quick. And then the other thing is the guy I just mentioned accidentally, Paul George. What happens with him? Does, you know, the Pacers get a good deal to trade him, or do they keep him around? Because Paul George is kind of a moving piece. It's kind of like Melo was a couple of years ago, where you know he's gonna leave. You kind of know he wants to go to LA or somewhere else. It's just a matter of, can the Pacers get something for him before he walks away? Or even the CP3 deal when he got traded to the Clippers, speaking of CP3. So we'll see how that all works out. Obviously, Boston's got some cap room to play around with it. They got a #1 overall pick that's probably going to be Markelle Fultz. So we'll see how Boston restocks and see if they could potentially build a team that can beat Cleveland in the next year, if not, you know, 2 years after that. So, you know, that's another story for another day. We'll get into this game really quick because it is a tie game with a minute left until now, because we slashed in the paint. You couldn't tell by now with the Hall of Fame acrobat and me only taking inside shots. We do have this slasher out, Josh with the playmaker, Walsh with the sharpshooter. I don't know what Jay brought out. I think he brought a playmaker, and Brian had the glass cleaner that should have had a block right there. I guess he got some hand and not all ball right there. Wasn't exactly clean, but at the same time, man, the ball does not lie, right? The ball literally doesn't lie in 2K, I swear. When stuff like that happens, the ball will tell you the truth, and right there, that was the truth. He misses one of those free throws, and that prevents them from tying the game at the charity stripe. We're trying to get a dagger bucket. Brian inside over 2 people. Can't get the shot to go in with 32 seconds left. Any bucket gives the Gators the lead. Look at him spreading out 5 wide. We got a defensive miscommunication, but they missed the shot. Took it just a little bit too quickly. The shot clock is not turned off, but it might as well be because there's about a half a second difference between game clock and shot clock, and we're going to burn every single little bit of it and take a shot with no time left to burn up the rest of the clock. And these guys are not realizing that until now. A lot of valuable seconds let off of that clock, but they do foul us with 9 seconds left. 2 big free throws. We make the first one right there. The second one to make it a 3-point game is good. That is still a 1-possession game. They still have all their timeouts. We'll see if they choose to call it, but they do have to take a 3 pretty much at this point. So we're just going to go 5 out, perimeter heavy, 5 seconds left, pass in the corner for the tie is off. Rebound by Brian, and the game is over. They do foul with 0.2 seconds left, but you know, that's not really going to affect the outcome of the game at all. We get the win, even if Brian misses both those free throws, which he does make. And thankfully we got that one through, man, because down by 1, they had 2 guys open for 3. Thankfully, that guy rushed the shot right there because he thought he was open. It was a miscommunication. I think Josh was supposed to pick up the guy in the middle, and I realized at the last second Josh wasn't picking him up, and I ran there, and if he was smart enough, if he was patient enough, he would have passed to the guy that was open in the wing for 3, and that guy probably would have made it, and we probably would have lost the game. So, you know, sometimes you gotta get lucky like that and hope for mental breakdowns. So we got it that game. I mean, it was a well-fought game between both teams at the end of the day, though. I'll give it that. We were just able to, you know, get one more winning play out of our team. So we're watching the video. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know what you guys think about the NBA Finals. Subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys next time.